today's show, we have a new 2023 Nissan Ariya. This is a fully electric SUV, and we are pretty excited by this. We've never kind of got to fully experience range anxiety. Will we experience that in this vehicle? You'll have to wait and see. But I want to go through this, and this is going to be more of a common person's look at EVs. We're not going nuts. I'm not going to break down why this atom does whatever it does to make the lithium do whatever makes the battery work. I'm not smart enough to do that, and it's what it is. But what I do like, I like to drive vehicles, and will I like driving this vehicle? You're gonna have to wait and see on that. Now let's talk about styling of this thing. Nissan, I think they've had a nice approach to it. They didn't go nuts with it. They kind of give it just a touch of futuristic styling, but nothing crazy. They didn't go full, you know, a lot of manufacturers right now just have to make them look so nuts. The doors have to, you know, do a backflip when they open, no door handles. And I think Nissan took the approach of, let's make this not as scary to common buyers. You know, there is definitely an EV market out there that wants the futuristic looking vehicle, which is fine. But I think Nissan has done a really good job to make this look like it would belong in their SUV line. And I think they've hit a home run with that. So first off, you got the cool daytime running lights, you know, a little bit of a light bar. I'm happy that they didn't just go full light bar across this thing, you know, put a super big N like it's Superman out on the chest. They did put the Nissan burger, it does glow a little bit, but nothing crazy. I think the trend of these huge light bars is just goofy to me, and it's just, you know, people looking for attention in an EV, which is fine. Once again, there's a vehicle for everybody, but overall, I think they've done a great job making this thing look like it belongs in the world. Nothing crazy. The wheels on this now, which are an upgrade, they do have a more aerodynamic wheel that they will offer. These are an upgrade, and they're more kind of sporty looking, normal. This paint on this thing, this blue paint, is amazing, I must say. Let's talk about the rear of this thing, because actually, baby's got back, and I kind of like the rear of this car. So let's get into it. The rear of this thing, I like this. It's kind of a spoiler here. This is not nuts. Nothing about this car is nuts. You know, I like how this is just a nice design trait, but it is, you know, it's for aerodynamic. They're pushing air all the way down here to hit the spoiler to keep it from sucking into the back and just ruining up your mileage. I also like the fact that Nissan went with their, just says Nissan there. I wish Nissan would go to this in all their vehicles. I just like the fact that it's just clean. It says Nissan. You're starting to see Lexus and a few other brands kind of just completely go into that. Simple is better. And maybe this is just something to designate their EV brand against something, you know, their gasoline powered brand. All right, so we have assisted raising, which is very nice. I think you can pay, I think it's optional, but you can do the whole foot thing in this, which would be better when you got groceries in your arms and you're trying to get in the back of this. But I think there's a lot of usable room in this. Looks like you could get 2 full-size bags in this. So if you're going to the airport, shouldn't be any problems that way. Kelly, thoughts of the interior of this?
Overall, I'm surprised for being a small crossover.
Yes, I'm as well.
That there's actually quite a bit of room in there.
Right, you actually get quite a bit of space in here, and something that I don't know Kelly's noticed just yet, but you get all kinds of ways to configure this. So what I did the other day, Kelly, my drinks up here, all of our milk and stuff that we had, I put it right there, put the groceries back here, and guess what? It didn't slide into my my bread and milk and stuff. So that was pretty nice. But you know, we've seen this before in the Toyotas. But you know, once again, you've got more space here that if you want to kind of adjust, and it looks like it'll all come out. If you need like deeper space, it looks like that will work. Plus you've got this little hidden top up here that will unlatch. So if you need to take this completely out, it looks like you can actually do that. Get lots of cargo room. So what are your thoughts there on seeing that?
I dig it, because I'm all about some space in the back. Like, I am all about using as much as I can, because
I like that manufacturers are thinking about how people actually will use these things.
100%. You know, this wouldn't be a video that Kelly's in without, what are we doing? Looking under the hood, guys, because I want to see what's under this EV beast. Let's see it. Is there a frunk?
I don't think there's a frunk on this one. I think Nissan's actually using this for air conditioning. This is a front-wheel drive vehicle, so you're very limited space on that. And let's be honest, versus some of them that have frunks, it's a pretty small vehicle.
Yeah.
So I can see that they, well, we had to give up some room somewhere, right?
We did, because there's lots of nooks and crannies in this one, and you had to give up some of that. It has its full heating and cooling system inside.
Yes.
Kind of a joke talking about the frunk, because Sydney actually said, "Mom, did you know this one doesn't have a frunk?" And I said, "Yeah, I mean, you got to put the stuff somewhere." Your mid-size CUV, not really able to do that.
Yeah, so sorry to disappoint, but probably makes it easier to service. So,
oh, for sure.
There you go. All right, getting into the Nissan Ariya. I have to say the styling of this is very nice. Very, very clean. I love the clean dash of this thing. I know Kelly's commented about that in the past. That just is simple, and that's I don't need crazy. I don't need buttons just everywhere. Now these are all touch, so it takes a little bit of getting used to. Am I actually pushing you know, the fan on more or less? I don't know. You do get a real volume button for your radio. I appreciate that. Overall, the steering of this thing, fun thing about EV too, look, turn it on. Oh, it's on. Did you know? Hard to tell, right? But I will say the steering wheel of this thing is very nice. The layout of the dash, everything works very well. Now, speaking of very well, shifter, pretty nice. A little adjustment to get used to, but once you kind of get the hang of it a few times, you're good to go. Has a lot of little fun hidden features about this vehicle too that I do really like. When we turn this thing back on, I like the fact that you can hide the cup holders are hidden. It looks clean. The dash or the center console here all looks great. You can open it up. They work well. You can get a big gulp in there if need be. Also, it's got buttons here if you you want this a little bit different. Say you want the your armrest to be a little bit different spots, you can do that. And it opens up some more storage areas down at the bottom here that, you know, maybe you want to put your phone down there. Might work out well, we don't know. Also, I love this, and Kelly pointed this out, there is a little dash that opens up here and you've got more storage area. Look, you got more pockets there for your phones, whatever you need to, you know, hide from the cops. I don't know what you might do with that, but definitely you've got room to hide from your kids maybe. Maybe that's what it is, all the candy, Mom, that we want to hide from our kids. Let me get Kelly in on this because I have a feeling she's gonna like a few things that I don't like, and I may like a few things she does like. So let's find Kelly and hey Kelly, where you at? All right, so Kelly, you've spent some time in this vehicle this week. What are a couple things you like about sitting in the captain's chair here?
Yeah, what I really like about it is there's actually 2 settings on there. I mean, for those that have met us in person, we are 2 different people when it comes to our vehicles.
Yeah, and what she's talking about is the seat. You have adjustable seat positions. You can they're programmable. So definitely mom and dad, dad, whoever want to sit in this vehicle, and you're 2 different shapes of people.
Yep.
You've got definitely you can program that. Well, anything else about this thing?
Well, and what's great about that setting too is that it actually adjusts your console, and it actually adjusts your little fancy little table that he wanted to talk about, that extra storage piece. Now, what's great about this too is that it's pitched as make it your picnic table or make it your home office. And I could honestly
put some French fries up there.
Yes, I could actually see me using this in the pickup line of my laptop, working while I'm waiting, picking up our daughter from school or something like that, or if I'm in between meetings or things like that. So definitely think that this is great for those commuters, those work office people, or if you're on a road trip and you need an extra table.
Overall though, the dash and everything, where are you at with this?
So on the dash itself, I really like the wood grain. I like the simplicity of it, and I really appreciate it. Now, some of the things that, it's something we're seeing in all the vehicles right now. It's that piano finish. And I get it. I get the reason it's there. It's to make it look more classy. It's to bring it up, things like that. Looks like you got some money there.
Yeah,
it looks like you got some money there. But for me, I think it's being played out at this point because I think we're seeing it in every vehicle. So personally, I would rather see it in a, I don't know, a darkened chrome maybe, so kind of something like that versus that piano finish. That's really what I would like to see.
But overall, the interior of this thing, as you can see in the video, I think it's just fantastic. I think Nissan has a home run on their hands with the interior of this vehicle. And I think this vehicle, Kelly, we may talk about this a little more, but I think this vehicle is placed in the Ultima segment of their cars and kind of that rogue segment. That you're getting a lot of space. It's definitely upper class space that you're getting. This thing is not a $30,000 SUV. But I think for people that they may want to dip their toes into the electric vehicle, this might be a good starting point for them.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. This is definitely that commuter vehicle for someone that wants that comfort on the road too.
I've experienced range anxiety just slightly in this thing because we just went across town the other day and I think we dropped like 15% doing it. And it just sort of hits you of, that's when the reality of an EV hits you of like, oh, where would I charge this if I needed to? I'm the kind of guy with my cell phone, I'm the bad guy, I keep it charged all the time because I'm always scared of those emergency situations, like I need to be somewhere. This vehicle may give me that. If we had an emergency situation like we did last year, our son's in the hospital in Nashville, we're 50 miles away, and damn, Dad forgot to charge the vehicle overnight. Yeah, well, good thing we got old Gassy back there that can actually get us there. Or we can stop at a convenience store and get fuel. But overall, I think the interior of this thing, Kelly, I think for me is probably a good 8.5 to a 9.
Yeah.
I think Nissan's done it great. I think there's a couple, I think the center console moving around is kind of quirky and goofy. I like it. I like goofy little things like that, but I don't know that once I got it set, I may never notice that I'd ever move it again.
But overall, what I like in the EVs too is you're starting to see is that you're actually getting floor space in front of your console as well, which is you don't think about until you actually have that space.
So whoever could put their purse down there in the center console, they're not in the leg room of this person over here.
And that's actually what I've started doing.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I remind myself that, hey, EV, I can put it in the front of the console.
Well, Kelly, this has been our time with the EV known as the Ariya. I'm glad that Nissan allowed us to have one for 7 days. I think even at 7 days, we don't get the full extent of range anxiety that you could suffer. Christmas time is about where you want to test these things.
Yeah.
Can you imagine going to the mall? It's packed already. You know there's some jerks out there that'll park in the EV spots to charge anyways. That might be fun, but so make sure you have it fully charged. Yeah, you're ready to go for that. Overall though, I like it. I'm surprised how much I actually like it. You get used to the quietness. Like kind of lets you get out of your head just a little bit, man.
Yeah.
I've noticed this is the first press run that we've had that I rarely turn the radio on. It just was real quiet all the time, and it was just kind of like, oh cool, I can just Dave time. I gotta run and go pick up our Chinese food or whatever we ordered. Oh, it's Dave time. I can just zone out. And even the person that delivered this to us just had on some like background music. You could tell they were just enjoying.
It was the spa music.
They were just enjoying the ride. So Kelly, what's your final thoughts with this thing?
Yeah, final thoughts with this. Super glad we had it for a week, but definitely could see where the range anxiety is there.
So whether it be two-wheel drive,
four-wheel drive,
or these EVs we're now driving, this has been your All-Terrain Nation, and this has been our first look at the 2023 Nissan Ariya, and we are out. Peace, everybody.
See ya.
quiet, I must admit.
It was very quiet.
The only thing I heard a little bit of was a little bit of road noise from the tires, which that's the problem with EVs now is they're so quiet you actually hear the tires rolling, which is, I guess, not a bad thing. But we've had it on the highway. It'll get up on the on-ramp. It will get up and go just as you expect it to. Now, this is not a 4-second car. No. And I like that. I like that in the world of EV battling, everybody is looking to break that 2-second mark for whatever reason now. We all know electric motors, instant torque, man. They can program these things to rip your face off if they so well want to. And I like the fact that Nissan knows the target audience for this. You know, we tested that EV GT, or the Kia EV GT inline, whatever it was called. Yeah. And that thing was quick. Yeah. And it was really quick, but you watched the battery go down a lot. So I think Nissan was smart enough to say, look, once again, we're just building an honest car. And I think where this thing really takes the place for Nissan is if you look at the Altima. This is definitely around the same size, the interior-wise, of the Altima. And I think that's kind of the plan, the space point for this vehicle is. Now, I think they will do something in the Maxima place too. I think Nissan may convert the Maxima to EV at some point. But I think that this is going to be for the Nissan, this is like their Rogue of sorts. And I feel like it's just a hair roomier than the Rogue. But this is the point of this is, hey, it's the mom and dad's daily car. It's nothing, I won't say it's nothing special because this is a very special looking vehicle. But it's like, hey man, other people out there, Lamborghini and all these people will do something crazy. Let's just do a car for the normal guy.
Now, with that being said, do you think that might be a hindering of folks buying it because it is for the common man and maybe not necessarily, I mean, it is pretty. It is a nice vehicle, but if people know that it's not that 2-second car or that type of thing, do you think that might be a hindrance from the purchasing perspective?
I don't really, because I think 5 to 6 years ago, yes. Then you know, because with that much power, you're trying to get people's attention that EV is the new muscle car. Yeah. And I think we're well past that now. I think there's, you know, Lamborghini's coming out with the hybrid version of their supercars and stuff. I think there's an audience that was going to want that. But I don't know that audience is ready for their, you know, we don't need to get little Jilly to school in 4 seconds, you know, and you live 50 miles away.
As Sid would say, please go faster, as she used to say when she was little.
Right, but I think they really are playing like, hey, we just want to be a common car that does common car things.
I can see that. As long as it is marketed right, I think this is a slam dunk, home run, whatever sports analogy you want to use with this one. But I think overall it's a great choice on this one.
Touchdown ball,
throw pass, whatever.
I would agree. I would agree. And I think the tech of this thing really does sell itself for that. Like that people, it does give you a little bit more than you might be expecting in like an Altima. Yeah. Like once again, you said the sleekness of the interior of this thing is well past what an Altima would look like. But it just, there's controls on the steering wheel that just operate like a normal car, which is what you expect a car to be anymore. And I know we sound kind of dumb with this a little bit with the whole EV thing, but I'm never going to try to break one of these things down to the kilowatts and all that stuff because I don't find it interesting. Horsepower, it's taken me, I'm nearly 50 years old and it's taken me this long to understand horsepower ratings, it seems like. I don't have another 50 to figure out, you know, kilowatts. All I know is on the 40-mile loop, this thing did pretty well, it seems like. It didn't use, I want to say we were well above 90% when at the end of it, which wasn't too bad. You definitely know, like days like today where it's super hot, this air conditioning in this thing. It's one flaw I could say about this thing is I don't feel like, for whatever reason, it's keeping up with maybe what a normal car would. Yeah. I don't feel like we're at the coolest settings, and I don't have a temperature gauge to rate this thing at, but I do feel like it's a little lacking there, Kelly.
Yeah, I do feel like in other vehicles that we've sat in or even owned that we'd be freezing by now. Yes. Like, and we'd be turning down and we have our windows up and all of that. So it's not like, oh, Dave got to take that curve and let's test it out.
Oh, you're good.
But yeah, I don't feel like this is keeping up with the
a gasoline
like
engine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. One of the cool features I do like about this thing is the big sunroof of this thing. Now you can we'll push it open here. and you've got a normal sunroof, right? And it does normal sunroof things, and you can open it up like a normal sunroof. But then you've got the feature back there. It just takes it back to all the way to the passengers, Kelly.
Yeah, and it won't go back to a full sunroof back there, but it will go ahead and open up a little bit more than your traditional sunroof, and you do have that moonroof type capability.
Yeah. Where are you at with that in these cars? Because it's been a big trend over the past 5 years.
Oh, I'm a huge fan. I'm always a huge fan of a vehicle that has that modification available from a roofing perspective, because some days you just want the sun on your head.
Yeah.
Whether it be air on your head and sun, or just a little bit of the sun kind of peeking in on you.
Right. I do remember you enjoyed that quite a bit in the last vehicle we had that had a sunroof.
Yes.
That was, you always stole my truck because it had, I think, the sunroof.
I know what you're talking about.
Must be one reason why you like our Bronco. Now,
Probably.
affordability of these things, Kelly, this is where we gets a little tricky, because as tested, this was like $59,000, almost $60,000 as tested. Now you're getting a lot of features. You're getting the advanced driving systems and all of this. So the cruise control, you push it, it helps. You have to keep your hands on the steering wheel. This is not full autonomous like their 2.0 system is, but this is it definitely will help you. I can see, we talked about this when we were on the highway. I can see the feature of that being very useful when you're on a long trip. Maybe say you're going a couple 100 miles. Say we're going to Knoxville today, which is 200 miles away. This car would just squeak in there with the mileage.
Yeah.
And this would keep you from being fatigued, right?
Oh, for sure, because it does require you to be a little bit on the steering wheel, but yet not enough to make you feel like you have to stay tight on the whole thing. I mean, obviously you are paying attention as you're driving, but you get a little bit of that pressure off of you.
Right,
from that perspective.
right.
Now, do you find, sorry.
No, all right, go ahead.
So having tested the Rogue and tested this one with the autonomous driving, do you feel like they're
Rogue?
the same? What did we, or Pathfinder? What is it, a Pathfinder? Okay.
Oh, yeah.